Okay, hello everybody. I'm Conquering History Games, and welcome to an epilogue of the Wallace campaign here, where we're gonna check out the impeachment path before I update Hearts of Iron 4 because I'm behind a couple of patches on a couple of different mods. So I thought it'd be fun to at least check this path out. Even I know the other day I mentioned doing Barry Goldwater. I think there's just more than enough Hearts of Iron 4 US, the New Order of the USA on the channel, and I want to get diversifying. I got a lot of other things that I want to do, and so let's knock this out. Let's see. Hi, Jacob. Yeah, I'm doing good. Had the day off, so just been working on a couple of things here and there, and screwing around in my community tab. If y'all haven't seen it already, I just popped something on over there before I came over here. Let's see here. All right, but oh geez. Yeah, I've been doing a few different things. I cleared out like a quarter, like earlier today. I cleared out about a quarter of a terabytes of space on my main hard drive, which was nice. The main one that I use. Okay, so what we've done here is we've gone back to January 1st, 1968. And what we're going to try to do is get ourselves impeached, which when you come right down to it, I think is not going to be too hard. See, at the end, it was a good run. At least we have a legacy of universal segregation. We are proud of our victories. Jacob Blackheart says, I'm doing good just reading a book. Well, that's good. It's nice to read books. I got a bunch. I ordered several books recently, and a few of them came in yesterday, which is nice. Oh, you know what we're going to do? I don't think I ever finished the Justin Trudeau, hold on. That Justin Trudeau fanfic, did I? Let me look that up. Did we finish chapter 4? Because there's 5 chapters. I gotta tell you guys, though, I don't think there's gonna be an end. I don't think the story's going fast enough. Let's see, Justin Trudeau fanfiction chapter... Let's see, let me check chapter 3. Give me a second. That's when we get out of the car. Okay. Where were we? So we had gone on the date with Justin Trudeau, and then we did the faking the choking, and then our friend Mabel was noticing that we were in the paper on that date. Okay. Let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, okay, so then Justin Trudeau was explaining to us being Kate, that we were going to be the date tomorrow night to a formal dinner hosting the Prime Minister of Spain. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and read a little bit of that while we wait for people to come in. I'll go ahead and set the 5-minute timer as usual. Hold on. 5-minute timer. Books about ancient Rome. That's cool, Jacob. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, this was part of our deal, he says firmly, sounding like a sexy lawyer, or maybe a sexy businessman, whoever it is that makes deals. If you're my girlfriend, then people are going to expect you to come to events like this. You pause to consider. Can I wear a fancy hat? You ask. You imagine a montage of you trying on fancy hats, while Justin Trudeau shakes his head no for each one, until finally you try on the biggest, fanciest hat of all, and he smiles and gives you a thumbs up. Then the scene cuts to you walking out of the hat store, with Justin Trudeau trailing behind you carrying a stack of hat boxes so high that he can't see in front of him, and he accidentally bumps into an old woman and drops all of the boxes. Now that would be a fun date. No, Justin Trudeau says. Then no deal, you say, still thinking about hats. His expression turns calculating. What if I told you there was going to be a make-your-own hot dog bar? My whole life is a make-your-own hot dog bar, you say, which is true. Look, he says, rubbing the back of his neck. The Prime Minister of Spain and I, we don't exactly get along. I'll feel better if you're at my side. You have a way of making things fun. Or, not exactly fun, but... He pauses while he searches for the right word. The pause is very long. Let's go with madcap, he finally says, which is weird, because you get that a lot. He looks down at you with piercing blue eyes. Please, he says softly. I need you. Drop the mic. Okay, you say quickly with his display of emotion, because his display of emotion is making you uncomfortable. Thanks, he says with a small smile. Oh, and before I forget, I have something for you. He reaches into his coat pocket and pulls out a DVD of the movie Speed. It's a birthday present, he adds, handing you the plastic case. But how did you know it was my birthday? You stammer, staring down at the picture of your best friend, Keanu Reeves. You can feel your cheeks turning red. Aha! So we just learned more about the character. Hero astronaut, used to be American, and now she's best friends with Keanu Reeves. You're wearing a plastic tiara that says birthday girl on it, he says, which is true. I love it, you say, forcing yourself to meet his gaze. Hopefully it's clear that you're talking about the DVD and not the tiara, which you also love. I'm glad, he says. I'm starting to think I should have gotten you a hat. I would have liked that better, you say honestly. I'll make a note for next time, he says, his gaze suddenly intense. He must be serious about hats, just like you. Then he turns and walks out of your office. On the way due to Sun Gintz, hold on, I'll answer your question in a minute. On the way to Redo Hall, Justin Trudeau lectures you about Canadian-Spanish relations. Canada and Spain are ancient enemies, he explains in a tone that makes it sound like you should have already known this. I didn't realize that Canada and Spain even knew each other, you admit. No, he says tightly. Things have been especially frosty since the Great Turbot War of 1995. You nod vaguely, thinking about... That's funny that that's considered a war. That's so Canadian. Seriously, don't fuck with Canadians during war, because they will fuck you up! Anyway, things have been especially frosty since the Great Turbot War of 1995. You nod vaguely, thinking about how good he looks in his tuxedo. The Spanish were overfishing turbot right next to Canadian waters, Justin Trudeau continues, apparently mistaking your blank stare for intent interest. We had no choice but to seize one of their vessels and imprison its crew, to set an example. You start to ask him what a turbot is, but then you think better of it. It's more fun to be surprised. Maybe the Prime Minister of Spain is here because he wants to smooth things over, you suggest. No, Justin Trudeau growls. He's just here to troll me. Hold on. Okay, we'll just finish this scene. He's just here to troll me. He comes around every few years to complain about how he can't find any good tapas here and brag about how many UNESCO World Heritage Sites Spain has. Ooh, how many, you ask, but you never find out the answer, because you've arrived at Redo Hall. Okay, and we'll stop it there. I think that's given people enough time to come in here. Let's see. So, yeah, female tongue. CHD, did you check out Suzerain? It seems like it has the potential to become one of the best political simulators of the Cold War. As a matter of fact, Sengeens, I don't know if you caught my State of the Channel live stream, but I have said I'm going to be beginning a Suzerain campaign within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully closer to 4 than 6. So yes, I definitely have checked that out. Don't worry. I am very aware of it. So let's go ahead and get started. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have unpaused while I was reading the fanfic. But it's okay. There's going to be plenty here. And now the people are starting to come in. Some refreshing water. Feels good, man. So how's everybody doing today? While we wait for the events to start. So of course we're gonna do the Senate vote stuff, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna start heading to trigger the freaking people getting pissed at me. So like, you know, segregation, ending civil rights, and then I believe that the Arkansas governor is gonna start his shit soon, where he's gonna segregate the state without talking to us first. Dun, 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 dun. Geez, sorry, I just got distracted. I got a ton, an absolute ton, and they're still coming, of notifications on a Discord that I'm a part of. Man. Dude, watching from Argentina, the impeachments are super meta. What do you mean? What's going on in Argentina? I have been out of the news loop for like the last half week. Typing in Argentina news. I'm seeing there was an earthquake. Something about Argentinian dollar. I don't know, what's happened in the news in Argentina? Tell us, Santiago. While we kill time till the impeachment proceedings begin. Yeah. Alright, so we're going to say vote R and D, because, you know, maybe we can get a Barry Goldwater thing going anywhere. At least we can see if we were able to actually overturn the popularity of Wallace. Unlikely, but we'll try. Let's work over the Great Lakes. Just to kind of kill time, of course. Oh, we had 4 presidents in 1 week in 2001. Oh, so you look at my pre-recorded USA campaign where I went through, what, I went through like 5 presidents in 5 years. And you're just rookie fucking numbers. I've actually still not seen that movie, even though I really like Martin Scorsese. He's one of my favorite directors. You know what, guys? Let's kill some time here by let's list some of our favorite movie directors. I'm actually going to open up a page in the other tab and get working on my top 10 film directors. This is a list. I remember I made one off the top of my head like months ago, almost a year ago, when in a conversation with my friends. Yeah. Let's see. Walter says you're a funny guy. Yeah. Anyway, so let me kind of brainstorm here. Okay, so my top 10. Okay, Martin Scorsese is for sure in there. Okay, I'm just gonna brainstorm a bunch of them. Let's see. Let's try Ridley Scott. Let's see. Kurosawa comes to mind. Wes Anderson. I'm just kind of brainstorming a bunch, so I'll probably end up in the other tab listing more than 10. Not frickin' Christopher Nolan, I'll tell you that much. Let's see, Kubrick. Let's see, Stanley Kubrick. let's see, Richard. Here we go. Arkansas governor has decided to resegregate his state. This was the event we were looking for. Excellent, excellent. Let's think here. Spielberg, not George Lucas. Let's see. Right. Who else? I don't think I'm not enough of a Hitchcock guy. Let's do Francis Ford Coppola. Let's see here. Who else? Peter Jackson, of course. Gonna have Peter Jackson in there. We gotta have, let's see, maybe Clint Eastwood. Again, we're just brainstorming right now. Let's see here. Hello, Nico-chan. Nico-chan, kimochi. Let's see. Black students are defying the governor. Let's see. Gotta have the Coen brothers. I'm just gonna lump them together. Who else? Who else? Who's like a top-notch director off the top of my head? We're not going to do animated, by the way. This is strictly talking live action. I would say... No, not Tarantino. Not Tarantino. He gets on my nerves so much. Yeah. Okay, so I've listed quite a few here. So I would say, okay, let me knock out the ones that for sure are like in my top 10. I'd say the Coen. Okay, let me make like a list. So, you know, I'm gonna make a new document. Bergman. Oh. All right. Woody Allen. I'm not familiar enough with his film work. So let's see. CHG top film directors in no order. Oops. Wait, I misspelled directors. But let's unpause that. Okay, so yeah, this is what we'll do to kill some time. So let me bold and underline this. We're strictly gonna have the numbers there. Okay, hold on. We wanted to fuck this up. Excuse me. This issue with the resegregation of the schools. Let's see. Okay, Angry Man, Arkansas. All right. Tarkovsky, yeah, probably Tarkovsky, although let me double check his list. We're going to federalize the Guard and bring in the airborne, which I think is supposed to be what leads to disaster, although I think there's a slight chance of, you know, that it could go wrong. So you see Tarkovsky, I would probably list him if I was doing a best animated directors list, but let me double check his live action. Because, or no, wait, who's the one? I'm forgetting his name. The guy who did The Fountain. He's in there. Frickin', he's another guy. Aronofsky? He's another ski. Aronofsky, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Aronofsky's in there. Okay. So, let's start listing them. We'll use the... Wait a minute. Did LibreOffice update? Yeah, this thing's on the side now. Okay, so... Let's see... Okay. Scorsese is in there. For sure. Darren... Aronofsky. Hold on. Dang it, hold on. It's Aronofsky. Aronofsky, that's his name. Spike Lee's on the fence with me because I think his earlier work is really, really damn good. But he's really fallen off. I think Chirac was maybe the last great thing he directed. And even that was, the cracks were showing some of his flaws. But yeah, stuff like Clockers, Do the Right Thing, autobiography of Malcolm X. That's good stuff. Yeah. Who is Darren Aronofsky? Okay, so he did, yeah, somebody already said Requiem from a Dream, which is just an insane film. But he's a very psychological dude. Like, he did The Fountain, which was a super like, let me put it, it didn't fit in the post 9/11 world. That's the best way I can describe it. He did The Wrestler, he did Black Swan, and then I think he did Noah and then walked away. No, he did, I haven't seen it yet, but he did Mother, which is something that had like Javier Bardem in it. But The Fountain's great. Requiem for a Dream, great movie, but so traumatizing. Well, you know, sometimes you need those things in art. The freaking horror movies, man. Like, when I think of horror movies, I don't think of, like... There's, like, campy horror movies, of course. There's things like, what do you call it? You know, the Freddy Krueger films and the Jason Voorhees films. Those are fun and all. But when I think of horror, like movies that actually scare me or that make me feel uncomfortable, of course you have like things that are based in real life, like Come and See. Let's see, The Bloodhounds. Okay. I think here we go. I think this is where the impeachment starts. But like for me, when I think of movie, like there's just certain movies that make you uncomfortable in a different sort of way. So, for example, one of the earliest films I remember ever seeing is that like made me super uncomfortable is this one called Kids, which is it's from 1995, and there's not really any big names in it, I think, except for Rosario Dawson has a role in it. Actually, I think that was Rosario Dawson's first move. Hold on a sec. First movie, and so it's about AIDS in New York City. So it's basically following all of these kids who just over the course of a single day, and like AIDS is essentially spreading through all of them over the course of it. Like it opens with the main character, so to speak. His name's Telly. He has sex with a preteen girl, and like he's got AIDS, and so like everybody he's having sex with is of course probably getting it from him because it's all unprotected sex, and it's just. But there's like a lot of stuff. Like by the end, practically everybody's got AIDS. There's like one guy who doesn't, but he's probably gonna die of alcohol poisoning, and it's just. It's horrible. There's rape. It's a really, really super uncomfortable film to watch. And it's not like there's any fantastical horror in it, you know. Anyway, so The Bloodhounds. But like other examples is like Babysitters. Babysitters was a film that I couldn't even finish, and that's just about a group of teenage babysitters who start sleeping with the dads for money, and things just rapidly get out of control. I just realized all the examples I'm using are like sex related. Well, Come and See is not sex, although actually no, yeah, there's rape in Come and See, but you never see it. You don't see it directly. Anyway. Let's go back to our fantasy impeaching segregation man. The Bloodhounds. Hello, Nicholas. Good to see you. A day after the government announced that the Pentagon would be taking charge of investigating the conduct of troops in the Little Rock shooting, Wallace found himself waiting impatiently for his chief of staff to return from a meeting on Capitol Hill. He was clearly being delayed by angry congressional leaders, most likely being raked over the coals for Little Rock. But so long as the NPP didn't break ranks, they'd be just fine once the military and the Justice Department secured all the evidence in Arkansas. His chief of staff rushed into the Oval Office, short of breath, clearly flustered. He could barely manage to stammer. Congress has the transcripts of your call with the governor. He sold us out before our people could secure the evidence. Wallace reeled. And Congress? They're buying the governor's story, that he wasn't adequately consulted or informed about the federal troops' mission before the shootings. Wallace offered the chief of staff some water. Oh, I don't have water for ASMR. Hold on. Here we go. He offered him. Wallace offered the chief of staff some water, but he refused, continuing on. The center's going to agree to an inquiry in the House of Representatives. The investigation's not in our hands anymore, and we're going to be called to give testimony at some point. Wallace swore. The dogs in Congress had smelled blood, and that was going to make everything more complicated. Perhaps it was time to take the argument directly to the people. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Let's try to set up a patsy. Alright, so anyway, let me go back also to my film director list. So yeah, Darren Aronofsky is going to be in there. Crafting the defense. A congressional impeachment inquiry, it turns out, is no simple fact-finding mission. Armed with... Hold on. Okay. Armed with the power of subpoena, lawmakers can compel witnesses or public officials to provide documents or sworn testimony on a wide range of subjects, with criminal penalties for anyone refusing or, worse, choosing to lie. With that in mind, the House Oversight Committee had wasted no time in calling on a wide range of witnesses involved in the decisions leading up to the Little Rock Massacre, ranging from the soldiers on the ground to White House staffers privy to the most sensitive decisions by the administration. Wallace flicked through the list of witnesses and attached rationale provided by the House investigators. It was an expansive list on an aggressive timetable. Wallace grimly noted that his administration would only be given enough time to... would not be given enough time? There's a typo here or something. To fully coordinate and lock down the stories of one of the two groups of individuals summoned, the soldiers on the ground or the staffers helping to issue the orders. Then, of course, there was the matter of the NPP legislatures on the House Oversight Committee and how willing they'd be to softball the investigation. With the Center NPP on the verge of revolt, this too would be no easy task, but surely leaning on members of your own party was more acceptable than coaching witnesses. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Yeah, sure. So, you know what? We're going to actually make a little straw poll here, which I'll keep open for about 5 minutes, long enough for me to read the some more of the Trudeau fan fiction. And I want you guys to decide if we're going to be trying to avoid impeachment or not. So let's see. Try to escape. There's like impeachment. Or number 2 is botch the cover-up. So give me a second. Okay, I am posting in the chat now. And I'll go ahead and start the 5-minute timer and continue reading our Justin Trudeau fanfiction. So we just arrived at Redeal Hall. Looking around the crowded ballroom, you can tell that the Canadian government has pulled out all the stops to create an event that captures the spirit of order and fiscal prudence. We might as well get this over with, Justin says between clenched teeth. He tightens his grip on your hand and he leads you across the room, directing you toward the most handsome man you've ever seen in real life. You're not counting all the pictures of handsome men you've seen in magazines, which is a lot, given your subscription to Newsweek. He looks up as you approach, his dark eyes flitting past Justin Trudeau before locking onto you. He smiles warmly and takes a step forward, clasping your hand in both of his. Okay, so I'm going to need to pull up a picture here. A sec. Let me pull him up. Give me a second. So this is the person who we're meeting. It's this guy. Let's see here. Is the poll not working for people? I see people voting. Okay, so anyway, back to the reading. You must be the woman all of it. You must be the woman all of Ottawa is talking about, he says. He lifts your hand softly and presses it to his lips. My name is Pedro Sanchez, he murmurs. I am the Prime Minister of Spain. It's nice to meet you, you mumble, feeling very conscious of the fact that he is still holding your hand. Justin Trudeau must notice too, because he wraps one arm around your shoulder possessively. Welcome back, Pedro, Justin Trudeau says. I was worried that you might have to cancel your visit, what with all of the unrest in Catalonia. It is good to see you again, Justin, Pedro Sanchez says, flashing him a wolfish smile. You look like you've lost weight. You'll have to tell me your secret, should the occasion ever arise that I need to lose weight. Pedro Sanchez turns his attention back to you and leans in conspiratorially. I read about you in the newspaper today, and I have a confession to make, he says. Sometimes eating dinner with Justin Trudeau makes me gag too. You both laugh because it was a pretty sick burn. Justin Trudeau does not look amused. Come on, keep voting, people. On that note, I'm afraid you'll have to excuse us, Justin Trudeau says with a tight smile. We're going to get something to eat. Of course, Pedro Sanchez says, his eyes never leaving yours. Take my advice and stay away from the poutine, he says in a low voice. It is a truly repulsive dish. It's like they've taken a beautiful paella and replaced the rice with wet French fries and replaced the seafood with disgusting cheese curds. Okay, you say, because you do plan to stay away from the poutine for all of those reasons. You must allow me to cook for you sometime, he says. I make a wonderful paella. I also make an excellent pan-seared turbo, he adds, winking at Justin Trudeau. It's been a pleasure, as always, Pedro, Justin Trudeau says wanly. With his arm still wrapped protectively around your shoulders, Justin Trudeau steers you away before the Spanish Prime Minister can object. The next hour is a blur of standing next to Justin Trudeau while he has boring conversations with people you don't know. A French-Canadian folk band is playing a lively jig at the far end of the room, but when you ask Justin Trudeau to dance, he just lets out an annoyed sigh. Hold on. An annoyed sigh. There are still a few people I need to say hello to, he says. You need to understand that this is a work event for me. We're not here to have fun, he adds, as if that wasn't already painfully obvious. That is already painfully obvious, you say, but it doesn't pack the same punch as it did when you said it in your head. Then Justin Trudeau gets wrapped up in a heated exchange with the Spanish ambassador, leaving you alone with the Minister of Rural Economic Development. So, rural economic development, you say. Then you pause, hoping this will prompt the minister to start talking about rural economic development. It does not, so the two of you just stand there saying nothing while you slowly sip your third maple-infused cocktail. Okay, so that's enough time for the voting to be done. Stop the count! Stop the count! And let's see the results, shall we? Oh, I need to actually click the thing. Hold on. The results are in, and the winner with 63% of the vote is... Oops. Botch the cover-up. So, we are going to try to get impeached. A congressional impeachment inquiry, it turns out, is no simple fact-fighting exercise. Armed with the power of subpoena, lawmakers can compel witnesses... Oh, wait, yeah. Hold on a sec. We already read this. So let's try to coordinate the soldiers' testimonies. I'm sure that's going to get blown. There's more votes by mail. Email? Oh, because it's electronic, because it's the... Anyway, a demand from the Führer. Oh, yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with impeachment. Friction! The constantly underlying The constant underlying the testimonies of the soldiers deployed in Little Rock is ambiguity and chaos. Under an admittedly vague set of orders to uphold the law and preserve order, the soldiers described an atmosphere of confusion as they formed a thin cordon between the African-American demonstrators and white counter-protesters. A scuffle broke out, sending a wave of tension through the air, with the soldiers caught in the middle trying to separate the two groups. A crack. Had a weapon discharged? An exchange of harried glances down the line, followed by another crack, then screams. The crowd surged forth, rifles up. No time to aim except its center mass. It all sounds like a terrible accident. We could argue as such that the confusion and ambiguity makes any presumption of impeachable intent ridiculous. That being said, none of that changes the fact that all of the dead were from the African-American demonstrators, and in light of that, there is no assurance ambiguity will be a believable defense. Instead, we should open ourselves to accusations that the ambiguous orders... We would open ourselves to accusations that the ambiguous... Ambiguous orders were by design a mobster's suggestion to avoid accountability for upholding the law of segregation. We could get the soldiers to agree that they were not explicitly authorized to use force, but did so anyway on their own judgment. It's a clear admission of blame that lets us off the hook, but preparing the incentives for the soldiers to testify in this way would be expensive and unethical, to say nothing of how the military could be affected by being made into a political scapegoat. So we're going to say they exceeded their orders, because I think that's how we'll botch it. What do you mean? I haven't shipped anything under Wallace to anybody, says Edon. Live from the steps of the Capitol in Washington, D.C., in the most recent investigations into Little Rock Central High School, the House has decided to formally set up a trial to investigate President Wallace's actions during the ordeal in an effort to root out any wrongdoing on the president's behalf, which could lead to a trial of impeachment for President Wallace. Reports indicate that the first set of witnesses have been called forward by the House of Representatives trial, these witnesses being the African-American students involved in the protests to testify against the Wallace administration. Oh, you know what, Idon, I'm sure in context it made sense at the time, whatever I did. Remember I recorded that series like a month ago. Within the House chamber, the Speaker of the House has officially begun appointing managers of the case to begin hearing evidence presented by the students present at the massacre at Little Rock. There, they make an already emotionally heartbreaking story abundantly clear for the American people. We were finally making it to the high school's front doors, said Percy Jameson, one of the witnesses in the middle of the bloodshed. We were met by protesters who fought against the movement. They did not want us walking into that school shouting things like, "Get the blacks back to the fields." Eventually, the shouting escalated into fighting, and while we marched, several of my fellow students were punched, kicked, and hit over the head with signs, sometimes even bricks. And that's when... Percy takes a minute here, his voice cracking and choking before he says it. That's when the troops came. They came and beat everyone back. Some of them looked confused and scared like us, but some of them looked like they hated us. When the ones hurting us continued to push forward, they opened fire. Percy is calmed for several minutes after breaking down in tears. News teams are spread wide and far as the situation within the Capitol continues to develop. More students turned protesters turned victims offer their side of the story. There is so much grammatical issues. They just need to tighten it up a little bit. Only time will tell what will be the outcome for President Wallace after all of this. Kid never said I did it! Gets a vent if you can tell a big enough lie. So we're losing political power. Oh, also because, we're trying to botch the investigation. Never mind. Finally, Wallace thought, as Dr. Sadowski made the move to bring up the commanding officer of the National Guard platoon stationed at Little Rock Central High, First Lieutenant Victor Thornton. Thankfully, the prosecution had no suspicions regarding the witness. Hold on. Sorry. I'm just fixing something in the other monitor. Thankfully, the prosecution had no suspicions regarding the witness. However, Wallace and his legal team had done great work in assuring that, as quoted by some fancy scrawls left for the man to find on his door, if his two kids ever want to hear about their father Victor again, then he'd best make it look like Little Rock was planned. The defense would like to call First Lieutenant Victor Thornton of the 2nd Platoon of the 216th Military Police Company. Dr. Sadowski started. The guardsman moved down the Senate chamber, looking nervous, frazzled, as if he hadn't gotten rest for the past few nights. Perfect, thought Wallace. After initial greetings, Dr. Sadowski asked, First Lieutenant, do you have any statements in regard to the build-up to the massacre, such as any motives from any parties involved? The First Lieutenant nearly froze before coughing and saying, The shooting at Little Rock Central High School was planned, an intentional attack against the gathering students by the High Command of the Arkansas National Guard. The Senate chamber seems to freeze perfectly still for a mere moment before exploding into chaos and disorder. The Senate was appalled by the First Lieutenant's account, claiming the massacre was a conspiracy to slaughter students, and the Chief Justice called for order to return to the Senate floor. All according to plan, thought Wallace, before being interrupted by a representative strongly crying out, Objection! Wallace's world froze, but he wasn't finished yet. Your Honor, this man's claims are a direct contradiction of official statements offered in regard to the investigation of the massacre. Furthermore, the witness's physical, mental, and emotional facilities appear to have degenerated over the course of the trial, signaling the possibility of witness tampering. Permission to clear witness of duty, sir. Wallace saw the grave stare of the Chief Justice as his world seemed to fall apart at the words of some representative. Objection sustained, the Chief Justice said with a slamming of a gavel. Even seated at the table, Wallace felt the burning eyes and venomous whispers shared among the senators, each adding fuel to the fire which burned Wallace inside out. The plan to use Thornton had been a failure, and now Wallace and Sadowski needed to improvise. Still didn't hear my name in there. Ooh, minus 200 political power. Super Gamer Grill. You know, that's something that's so specific, but I will be doing a Comey series myself soon, so keep an eye out on that. The Iberian divorce. Time for the staff to testify. Testify! Just waving my hands in the air. After the emotional hearings from those stuck in the middle of the bloodshed at Little Rock a few days ago, followed by the shocking and eye-opening testimony given by the members of the National Guard involved in the shooting itself, the House of Representatives has decided to call upon its third and final set of witnesses to offer testimony as to what happened that fateful day. Today, the staff of the Wallace administration and the staff of the state government of Arkansas will testify and provide any possible connections from the two governments into the involvement of the deaths of those 14 students. Hold on a second. You want to tell me how I'm supposed to play Canada there, Alexander? The first staff member called up to the stand by the House Judiciary Committee is calling forward the Secretary of Public Safety from the government of Arkansas to offer insight into the Arkansas government's involvement. The Department of Public Safety recognizes the failures which led... Hold on. This is a quote part. My bad. The Department of Public Safety recognizes the failures which led to the shootings which occurred at Little Rock Central High School and feels extreme regret in our actions that day, the Secretary said. The escalation from peaceful protest to outright massacre did not happen intentionally in any form within the state government of Arkansas. We simply could not prepare for something so fast and so horrible to occur within such a short time frame. After several more members of the state government were heard, the House moved on to the big names in the ring, federal staff members of the Wallace administration. The United States and the Wallace administration feel strongly in regards to the status of segregation in the education system and the actions of the protesting students that day, one figure within the Wallace administration said, whose name has been asked to be removed for protection. But just because we disagree with allowing these students in does not mean that we authorize massacres to prevent their entrance. One representative stated that they were shocked and said that they were left feeling gross about the staff member of the Wallace administration's statements defending segregation during the aftermath of a, quote, butchery which happened thanks to that stance. With the House formally ending its call for witness testimony, the representatives have officially begun the process of deciding whether to forward the collection of evidence towards the Senate as articles of impeachment for President Wallace. Hey there, Optimal Joe. So freaking remember, whenever you miss one of my live streams, I put them all in my master live stream playlist, or at least I try to. So someone get me that little bastard's name. Canada's gonna get 10 years content the next patch. Well, that's interesting. House decides to forward articles of impeachment. In a rousing day for the American political sphere, the House has officially decided their verdict in regards to the investigation and collected evidence into happenings behind the Little Rock Central High massacre, as many within the media have decided to dub the shooting. The Speaker of the House has decided to, quote, formally overturn the investigation to the Senate with a trial of President George C. Wallace in regard to his involvement within the killing of 14 African-American students and the injuring of 36 more. The word impeachment rings out in a familiar tune for the people of the United States at this point. Nevertheless, everyone has grown to stand firm in their beliefs regarding the massacre. Those damn students were told to back down, and guess what? They didn't, said a protester in support of Wallace, alongside several men and women adorned with shirts saying, Wallace will win. It's not right to blame the president for the shooting. Those troops with an itchy trigger finger are the ones that killed him, and those students shouldn't have been there in the first place. However, others have different opinions in regards to the trial of impeachment for the president, as many who supported the protesters have gathered in Washington to condemn the president. What Wallace did was an absolute disgrace for the United States. Whether he fired the shots into the crowd or not, he couldn't have avoided this if he just let those children in. He could have avoided this if he just let those children in. A man screams, waving around a banner with the words, "Racism remains responsible." Overall, I think there's a huge part missing for everyone supporting Wallace after what happened at Little Rock. Those were school kids, children, looking to walk in and get taught science and mathematics and English, for Christ's sake. As the Senate prepares to formally investigate President George C. Wallace and his administration for their possible action or possible lack thereof, the nation continues to stand divided as it drowns in the blood of 50 victims. Damned criminals in the House. So yeah, we have so then we've been officially impeached, right? Because it's going to the Senate. So impeachment has happened. Our judicial ammunition. The wait was long, arduous. Even just the daily I'm sorry, I gotta get a hoodie on. It's like kind of chilly today. Hold on. Okay. Well. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I believe the TNO 2 is just the slang term for it. It's just going to be a second starting timeline, kind of like in Vanilla Hearts of Iron 4, where you can start in 1939. Okay. So, gentlemen, okay. However, no matter what level of exhaustion he was at, anger flowed through the veins of the president, coursing through him with every flash of a camera and every reporter screaming outside his office. "Did you authorize the shooting, President Wallace?" Surrounded by a team of the best attorneys within the United States. Hold on a sec. Law professors at Harvard, those who have defended previous presidents, some of them with shiny gold awards. All of them had assembled within the Oval Office to prepare a defense with the President of the United States, dealing with possible removal of office after a massacre that stained the nation. Gentlemen, as you all know, these are difficult times that we live in, and I firmly believe that I have done what I can to embolden this nation after decades of fear and mistrust. But now, as I'm sure you've all seen, the media has turned this whole thing into a circus, with me as the biggest punchline of the joke, and with the House already against me, I need your help from the old bastards in the Senate. What can we do? the president said to begin the discussions. And those discussions not only began, but stretched on for hours. Everyone in the White House felt like they were subject to being torn apart by the horde of news journalists and protesters that had formed within the Capitol over the past few days. Whether it was rocks hitting the walls of Robert Byrd's office, or when Lurin Wallace dropped the bowl of soup she had just made from the fright of seeing a reporter pressed up against the window behind her. The White House was torn apart, in a state of fear and anxiety, as the only noises that sounded were the telephones ringing, the lawyers discussing with the yelling president behind the closed door of the Oval Office, and the onslaught of angry citizens and relentless reporters harassing the surrounding area. Finally, the president and his team of attorneys emerged from the Oval Office akin to a group of knights looking to wage battle against the castle next door, with pins and legalistic language as their swords and shields. Now, no scare tactics from the media could slow down the defendant and his partners in court. If the Senate wants war, they'll get it. You read an autobiography about one of the kids from Little Rock? That's interesting. Alexander says, which part of Russia do you know play as? What? Joseph Zavimbi is revoking his N-word pass. Yeah. I'm taking the sash back, Wallace. Anyway, our day in court. The air inside the Senate chamber today was heavy, tense. Sometimes you could feel the anger present in the room. However, at least it wasn't stale. President Wallace looked around at his jury, the most powerful legislative body in the United States federal government, and all seemed to look back at the defendant. The senior, most experienced Supreme Court justice had taken the head of the trial, and soon proceedings were to begin. However, despite the ongoing situation, Wallace knew one thing. If anything, do not be scared. Do not be a coward. Do not let anyone sway you to failing. If anything, be angry. May the Senate of the United States of America rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, the Supreme Court Chief Justice spoke. Everyone rose to recite the pledge, including President Wallace, laying his hand against his heart in pride for his nation, speaking loudly and confidently. Please take your seats, the judge ordered. Today, the United States Senate will begin proceedings for H.Res. 519, formerly entitled the Impeaching President George Wallace. In conjunction with the submittance of evidence provided by the House of Representatives, it is now the Senate's duty to proceed with the investigations of United States President George C. Wallace after the occurrence of the Little Rock Central High massacre, to investigate the possibility of mismanagement resulting in the death of 14 students and the injury of 36 others. Wallace was growing more frustrated by the minute, having to watch the old man fumble around and wading through these proceedings. He was an innocent man, and he knew it. And if those damn senators couldn't see it, then the United States is doomed. The prosecution, in this case, the representatives chosen to represent the federal investigation, shall proceed in stating their opening argument. The opening argument of the prosecution was an absolute disaster, in the eyes of President Wallace at least. Accusations of potential action wasted by attribution of the president's fervent segregationist belief, causing the goddamn massacre when he wasn't even in the same state for it. Or better yet, President Wallace's administration led a dangerous mishandling of the situation which resulted in the deaths of several innocents. The defense in this case, President Wallace and his legal team shall make their opening statement. Let's try that. In-game music's so sad. What a perfect match. Look how they're massacring our boy. Okay, so the opening statement is, we're going to say, in conclusion, the protest group that formed at Little Rock was illegal and thus received the full implications of the law. Ooh, people aren't going to like that. I think that's the way to do it, to get because we're trying to lose. You guys voted for me to lose the impeachment proceedings. On the high ground, Dr. Sadowski, the doctor of law and graduate from Harvard University, who was serving as the leading defense attorney, finally sat down after a long hammering in the Senate over the beginning of the trial. After the man took his seat, the Senate responded to his opening with a stern silence. Some more inexperienced politicians may have been intimidated, hell, even scared by the imposing sense of dread that followed. But not George Wallace. No, President Wallace stood by a single thought that journeyed through his mind. The roaches are scared. Wallace took a good long while to enjoy his first victory in what he believed would be a complete landslide of a trial. To be quite honest, Wallace thought that if there was any time to enjoy this entire ordeal, it'd be now. Sadowski leveled the opening of the prosecution with nailing the reasoning behind his innocence and attempting to influence a return to reason for the most powerful law-making body in the free world after a complete trial by media already seemed to have occurred. However, unlike Dr. Sadowski, Wallace had known a fact which he held dear to his heart. There wasn't any reasoning with the blood-sucking politicians in Washington, especially when riled up against the man who tore them and their anti-American antics down. Who's to say that some of these senators up there are plotting to not listen for the entire trial up until the final vote, where the name Wallace will ring out to them and they'll vote guilty? No matter. With any luck, the Supreme Court Chief Justice up there is going to ensure this remains as fair as possible, and none of the circus acts that his opposition has thrown out so far will endanger his chances. Wallace knew that this was just the first battle in an entire war. Nevertheless, if this battle was won, Wallace and Sadowski were going to make sure that none of the characters in here looking to tear him down would get the chance. Point 1 for Wallace. Okay, tell you what. I'm going to take like a 2-minute break, and I'm going to go get some more water. Because my lips are so chapped. It's always when it gets cold they start to feel chapped. And I think it's because it's cold, so I don't drink as much water, so I get dehydrated. So I'll be right back. Also get a little snack. Woo. Okay. All right, I'm back. All right. Let's see. I just segregated my games and segregated my food to separate the meat and the rice. Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. It's time to segregate Washington from the presidency. Mr. History 1980 says you're preparing for your Russian classes tomorrow. Well, good luck. Where witnesses walk and angels fear to tread. The Supreme Court Chief Justice was first to speak, stating, the prosecution and defense have each laid their initial foundational arguments. Caesar, did you just sneeze? What a sneezy boy. Okay. Hold on, let me get a bite. Barbara Monkey says, can you say gaming in the Wallace voice? Gaming. Gaming. They came for the gamers. The gamers. So, got a little hot sauce here. The prosecution and the defense have each laid their initial foundational arguments. Now the trial shall move forward to the cross-examination of witnesses, as is standard in the United States of America. The prosecution shall begin to cross-examination first. Great, thought Wallace. Now they're gonna get the blacks to go up there and cry about their friends. Dr. Sadowski worked to calm the president, whispering, until they get a picture of you with a rifle pointed at those students, you had nothing to do with this. It's not a reading simulator, we are reading. The first one the prosecution called up was that National Guardsman, Douglas N. McConnell, the one who was too scared to do as ordered. Some representative from New York was in charge of questioning the man. Corporal McConnell, you expressed a great deal of emotional turmoil following the bloodshed at Little Rock Central High School. Why would you say you're most frustrated after all of this? The senator asked. Well, you see, sir, that's a lot, but so you can say that frustration within myself can be pointed to some of the men that day. But more importantly, the ones who fought the protesters who wouldn't let the National Guardsmen present do their job. And well, I'm frustrated myself for having to have been so confused in it all. McConnell responded. Got them, Sadowski whispered to Wallace, knowing that a corporal was raised to respect authority and would be scared speaking against the commander-in-chief, his highest superior. Don't get me started on corporals in the army. The prosecution would now like to call forward Mr. Percy Jameson, boomed the New York representative. That media sensation, the black kid who survived all the shootings. Let's see where this goes, thought Wallace. Mr. Jameson, would you point towards the policy of segregation held by the Wallace administration against African Americans such as yourself and the rest of your friends who died that day as being a direct cause for this massacre? Asked the senator. Well, my friends and I, we felt very upset about the men who fired on us that day, especially the officers out there who ordered it, Jameson responded. Thinking that a young kid like him would point blame at the President of the United States in a room full of the... Wait, what? Oh, thinking that a young kid like him would point blame at the President of the United States in a room full of 100 of the most powerful lawmakers in the land. Big mistake for them. They're winning the case for us. Can we segregate the segregationist comments from the normal comments? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me finish chewing this. What the heck is going on in the chat right now? Everybody's talking about the N-word instead of how the president's being impeached. What's this? Richard Petrusev. Oh, maybe you got something productive to say. Playing some NWO. I'm going to guess you meant to type... Wait, TNO? Wait, none of those letters are even close. Anyway, Moscow exploded. Gorbachev has a democracy. A freaking mass guy called the Antichrist appeared in Russia. Von Bach is in Leningrad trying to reconquer. Wow. Hold on. Nothing like some refreshing water. So I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. Oh, I actually have my my water pitcher here that I fill up, and then I have a smaller little pourer thing here that I pour into before I pour into my glass, specifically in these streams, so you get more water noises like this. So that was into my secondary pitcher. Okay. Our time to fight. The Supreme Court Justice was allowing a brief period for the defense to gather its potential plan for the cross-examination of the evidence presented by the prosecution. Sadowski and Wallace knew that they may gain some ground in the prosecution's cross-examinations. However, their case can't survive on the holes within the prosecution alone. Men have been sent to their deaths for less. No, it's time to gather a solid plan surrounding the next period of the trial. Sadowski had generated a plan he and the rest of the team called Brilliant, as they looked like they were going to start patting each other on the back. Sadowski was going to call upon the unnamed staff member within the administration to grill into the man and try to psych him out into revealing faulty memories regarding anything even possibly connecting the administration or the president to the ordering of opening fire in regards to the current laws of segregation in school areas. That way, we can show a general inconsistency of information provided by such witnesses and limiting the potential for the prosecution. Next, he was going to, of course, call up First Lieutenant Victor Thornton to the stand. Thornton already seems up his own ass about his innocence about shooting a bunch of kids, so if we use him, we can show that the peaceful protests among the African American students, they were a lot more bloody than the media claims it to be. Plus, if they're disgusted no matter what, Thornton's statements will be in pride of his own actions, distancing us from his orders in all regards if things go the other way. Wallace took a few moments to think about the plan when an idea struck. Frickin' Duke of Lorraine. That's funny. Wallace took a few moments to think about the plan when an idea struck him. Sadowski, we aren't going to use the kid, Jameson, Wallace said. Well, we aren't planning to. Why? Because if we poke holes in his claims, we succeed in showing that he and the media blew his credibility out of proportion, and show that my policy about segregating their kind is right, showing they can't be trusted. Sadowski and the legal team had to take a minute to process Wallace's radical proposal for a defense, because it could actually make sense due to the segregation argument, but time was running out. And so, Mr. Oh, so we can go lean in on segregation, and because I guess a lot of the senators we have are far right, that they'll lean towards Wallace. But no, we're trying to get impeached. So we're going to say, thus our anonymous staff member has been proven to be invalidated, while First Lieutenant Thornton forwarded the notion of independent command. A small portion of senators will pledge to support impeachment. You see, that's... I know that the devs probably wrote impeachment because that's what, like, people know. They know that word. But the impeachment has already happened. Wallace has been impeached, and he is now on trial because of his impeachment. That's the chain of events. That's how it works. So, right now, we're trying to see if we're going to get removed from office. You know what, but... so, yeah, the bell tolls. Time marches on! No pizza time, we're not. At least not now. I gotta update TNO and get started on some new series. The bell tolls. Thus ends the concluding statements offered by the defense of President George C. Wallace. Both parties involved in HRS... Wait a minute, is this the Chief of Staff talking? I don't know. Let's just say it's like a news or something. Both parties involved in HRS 5119, once more entitled Impeaching President George Wallace, have offered the testimony in an effort to settle the case over the removal of President George C. Wallace from his position in office as President of the United States. Herewithstanding, the United States Senate shall now proceed to act as jury in the official decision between the innocence and guilt held by George C. Wallace and the potential mishandling of his duties as president. But first, we will offer an intermission between now and the upcoming final vote. Yeah, that was definitely the Chief Justice talking, so I did the wrong voice. Uh, President Wallace and his legal team realized that time was running out in gathering potential support against those looking to destroy the name of George C. Wallace forever. However, it would be unwise to treat the intermission as a mere break to catch their breath and make any last prayers. No, this intermission was to be one of the most dynamic points of the entire trial, according to Sadowski, and Wallace enjoyed the prospect of potential victory being in their grasp, no matter how desperate the situation may have been at the time. Thus, Sadowski and the rest of the team began their plotting and scheming for the president, while Wallace himself enjoyed the quietness. Finally, those old assholes won't be on their guard. Oh, how they'll realize their mistake in an early conviction of the one and only George C. Wallace. Oh, how they'll realize he didn't want those kids dead. Oh, how the taste of progress will be sweet once he claws his way out of here. On the other end of the table, the team of attorneys were worried. The estimations weren't concluding enough results. Had they done enough to secure the president's victory? Anything close to it? Only time can tell us now. Let's see here. Wolves on the hunt. Caesar, what is it? A break from the ongoing tensions of decisions regarding the final vote had arrived. Wallace and his team attempted to look valiant under pressure, but the cracks were visible. Luckily for them, the same happened to be true of the other side. The senators acting as the jury happened to be dealing with one of the most stress-ridden, difficult, and controversial votes of their lifetimes. Having said that, the darker side of such supposed valiant leaders of the country were beginning to show everywhere. Shadows lie everywhere when the light of the innocent is snuffed from the world. One of the attorneys on the team defending Wallace beckoned him closer to him, protecting against the inquisitive ears in the room. Finally, Wallace had gotten close enough to hear what the man was so worried about telling him, and the news he had heard back was well worth the effort. Some of the senators aligned with the far right of the National Progressive Party had been discussing voting in favor of the impeachment and removal of Wallace from office. Wallace nearly fell out of his chair, crushed over the news. The treason, the betrayal. Had these senators no honor left at all? Fucking vultures, why couldn't they help me? They've supported me in everything that's happened so far, Wallace whispered loudly, the lawyer seeing tears well up in the president's eyes. Sir, the best estimate I can offer you is that if the vote happens to condemn you anyway, they do not want to be lumped in with those that wish to support you, sir. The president had to contain himself from smashing the top of the table with his fist. This isn't right. They were allies. Hell, some of them were fucking friends. People you'd shake hands with and talk about the big game with. Wallace thought. Fine, fucking fine. Bastards want to kick a dog while it's down. Okay, what are our options from here? Wallace asked. Well, we could attempt to organize a small meeting in order to win back based on virtue and sway them from their current mindset. Or, the attorney said, or fucking what? Wallace asked. I'm not sure, sir. We can round them up, say we need them. We're going to say we don't need them, right, Sadowski? And then more will decide to support impeachment. Discussion on the Democrats. With another intersection came another discussion. Okay, yeah, we're trying to figure this out. What about their strong conservatives among the Democrats? We're going to try to get them. Get those damn Democrats on our side? No. We're going to say better not play with fire. The vote of faith. Wallace's foot had been tapping incessantly under the table. Let's see, with every vote, the anxiety, the counting of votes, an occasional yay and nay interrupting the president's train of thought, causing him to tighten his grip on the table he sat at, now showcasing white knuckles to the entirety of the Senate. With every vote, the anxiety, fear, and anger grew within Wallace tenfold. How could they do this, he thought. Do they realize the embarrassment of a second president removed from office in a row? Plus, what about LeMay? Is he the one they really think is going to succeed and bring some imaginary greatness to America? The man can't run politics correctly. Good luck getting him to shit rainbows and a successful economy for the American people. Wallace waited. His legal team waited. His whole cabinet waited. The entirety of the American people seemed to be glued to their televisions, watching, waiting for what was to become of the president. Sadowski better have won this. Okay, the voting's happening, guys. Are we impeached or not? The Chief Justice boomed out to the Senate chamber floor. The official votes of the guilt or innocence found in regards to the President George Wallace have been collected for a final estimate. President Wallace found himself feeling a mix of dread, anger, and a feeling of sadness that edged along the lines of despair. Next to him, all of his attorneys sat nervously, especially Dr. Sadowski. The men could hardly focus, but by the end they all heard two distinct phrases. Guilty, followed by more numbers, followed by a returning guilty. President, or former President Wallace's heart sank deep into his chest upon hearing the words fly from the Chief Justice's fat mouth, prompting the man to lower his head to the table he sat at. The President of the United States, for the first time in history, formally removed from office after a trial initiated by the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. And for what? Miscommunication in the middle of a disaster? Former President Wallace had been escorted out of the building as the Senate came to be dismissed and trial proceedings officially concluded. Outside, a microcosm of the entire United States was shown. Half of the crowds were cheering and crying in success over the removal of Wallace from the presidency, while the others appeared silent, seemingly destroyed over the loss of Wallace. In the White House, several men worked to help gather the president's belongings and personal effects to be brought out of the White House. Inside, Wallace shook the hands of his closest cabinet members, but could hardly bring himself to face the rest, who looked up to him as a leader. As the man set on changing the face of America, the President, George C. Wallace, leader of the far-right National Progressive Party, and the strongman of modern American politics, forced out of office by law. In one of his final acts inside of the White House, Wallace shook hands with soon-to-be President Curtis LeMay, his former running mate and vice president, before leaving alongside his wife, Lorene Wallace, destined to arrive back home in Alabama. George and Lorene laid down in bed in Montgomery, Alabama, watching the swearing-in of President LeMay. I swear within my duties of the United States, I swear to rectify the mistakes of the Wallace administration and settle the great rifts of our nation. I can only hope and pray to remain a man in better standing than former President George Wallace. Wallace responded by turning off the television and rolling over to go to sleep. We are lost, Lurlin. Base stability minus 3%. Political power minus 200%. The National Progressive Party grows further divided. American society is further divided. We are lost, Lorraine. And now we have Curtis LeMay in charge, our vice president. He does not have a vice president himself, but if someone had told, basically, he was an Air Force general. He's taken the events in stride. The United States will not fall into further turmoil on Curtis LeMay's watch. It wouldn't dare. So that's it. We've got some crab dances in the comments, but that's the end of it. We have a brand new focus tree, and Wallace is gone. So that's pretty much the end. Now, one thing I'd like to do, though, before we end the live stream and end the Wallace stuff, we're going to, you can see, LeMay start. We're going to see if I could have avoided the impeachment if I had wanted to, because I have been saving up political power during the Wallace campaign for just that eventuality. So what we're going to do is let's head back to Angry Man, Arkansas. And we're going to get started. And I'm just going to give myself 100 political power because I spent that on uniting the RDs, and I wouldn't have done that if I was trying to do, a non-Wallace impeachment run, or Wallace escapes impeachment run. Yeah. Let's see here. Come on, come on. Come on, load up, would you? Yeah, I've really got to update. So, yeah, federalize the guard, bring in the airborne, and then it's going to go pew pew. So, BP 100. There we go. It's closer and there's precedent. Oh, jeez. Everyone's heaping praises on 888 Alpha Bull. Come on. It's a little stuck, and we're moving quickly. Remember, the impeachment's over by late April, so it's not going to take that long for us to redo this. How did everybody like the Wallace campaign? Ooh, hey there, Caesar. It was quite a lot of live streams in the end. You know what? Let's keep reading the Justin Trudeau fanfic while we wait. The next hour is a blur standing next to Justin Trudeau while he has boring conversations with people you don't know. A French-speaking... Oh, wait, yeah, I already read this part. You must visit in Barcelona. Hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. So Pedro Sanchez, he's the Prime Minister of Spain. He comes up and he says, "Pardon me, but may I have this dance?" Pedro Sanchez says, appearing out of nowhere. Or he might have just come from behind you. You can't be sure. You notice that the band has started playing a slow and romantic fiddle song. You quickly scan the crowded ballroom, but you don't see Justin Trudeau anywhere. You know he wouldn't be thrilled with the idea, but it would be rude to say no, right? Okay, you say. The Prime Minister of Spain wordlessly removes the drink from your hand and places it on a nearby table. Then he wraps one arm tightly around your waist and whisks you onto the dance floor. "Tell me," he says, speaking in that low, sultry voice of his, "do you like buildings that look like they're melting?" "Sure," you say. "Then you must come and visit me in Barcelona," he says. His face is so close to yours that you can feel his breath on your cheek. "We have a cathedral there called La Sagrada Familia that looks like it's made out of melted wax. You have never seen anything like it here in the frozen wasteland that is Canada." "Wow," you say. "That's because it's too cold for anything to melt here," Pedro Sanchez explains. "Especially buildings." You say. Pedro Sanchez is kind of weird, but you like him. "It is one of 47 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Spain," he adds. "So you did end up finding out after all." "Are you familiar with the UNESCO World Heritage Sites?" he continues. "They are chosen by the United Nations for their unique beauty and importance to humanity." Pedro Sanchez starts listing all 47 of Spain's UNESCO World Heritage Sites, but you aren't really listening because you've just spotted Justin Trudeau across the room. He isn't talking to the Spanish ambassador anymore. He isn't talking to anybody. Anyone, excuse me. He is just standing there, staring at you, with a heat in his eyes that could melt 1,000 wax cathedrals. End of chapter 4. And yeah, I think that's gonna be the end of it for the fan fiction. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna get wrapped up in chapter 5, so whatever. But that was fun. That was a fun little side project. Okay. There we go. Please segregate my soul. Only kind of buildings of those I like are Fire, Environment, Romania, and Tokyo. Like you guys haven't enjoyed the fan fiction just because people leave the stream every time I read it. Actually, sometimes they leave, sometimes they come in, so it's a bit of a mix, it seems. Alright, the darkest hour. Let's keep moving. Let's get to the impeachment. Arkansas demands investigation. Lock it down. So here we go. We made it. We survived. By the way, did everybody see what I posted in my community tab recently? Point of view when you reveal yourself as a subscriber to the Equestria at War Team YouTube channel. So, just saying, everybody should type in Equestria at War Team and, you know, do that. Do that now. So, the Bloodhounds. We're going to say the people need to hear our side of the story. Let's just try changing that up a little bit. Because the Patsy thing I don't think was going to work. We need to segregate the CHG fan base, pro fanfic versus anti-fanfic. Nick Hooper liked it. Let's see, Nicholas says, after that fanfic, my boner is so hard I can pierce the Iron Curtain. Looks like the YouTube still filtered you, Nicholas. Okay. We only got one shot to get this right. We're going to say the nation has to come together. Yeah, let's do that kind of appealy bullshit. I should have actually said the military discipline thing. Oh boy, I'm surprised I haven't seen segregate me daddy comments yet. Or, you know, segregate my ass cheeks daddy. Okay, demand from the Fuhrer. This doesn't have anything to do with us. Triangulation. So your plan is to pretend nothing happened. I'm not rewriting the statement. We're going to take a few more hours to write up a statement. Yeah. Vacuum. Politics as with nature abhors a vacuum. The MPP congressional caucus is furious. Curfews are increasingly in place across the South. Fuck. Okay, so we blew that. Wait a minute. Let's go to the autosave. You people. Oh, segregate my ass cheeks. My skin is pure white power. It's begging to be defiled. That's what you guys are doing. That's what you sound like. Uh-oh, uh-oh. What's happening? Come on, come on, come on. Think of all these offers. Come on, come on. Your future with Audrey. Okay. Keep going now. Alright, Shadow with a Tragedy. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked. Alright, the polls have been updated, whatever. Trying to see if we can avoid this. Georgios is, ooh, what's this? Ah, so I guess you saw my my little news network post in my community tab. A couple of people clearly are incapable of looking at a picture that's too difficult for them, and they started seriously getting upset about BBC News because the logo kind of looks like it, and one person thought it was CNN. Oh, actually, yeah, Georgios, you commented on the thing, yeah. Our darkest hour. The senators will decide the president's fate. Yeah, patriotic Brit, but I'm not talking about whether or not the BBC and CNN are cringe. I'm saying that I posted a joke thing and people thought it actually was BBC or CNN. Let's see here. Arkansas demands an investigation. Come on, freaking poultry. Yeah, thank you, Patriotic Brit. Thank you for getting there. All right, so let's call this Bloodhound. Save file. guys almost made me type out BBC because distracting me with your nonsense. Alright, we're gonna say this time, let's try again the, people need to say, was that the breaking news Twitter, speak news that, yeah, that's exactly what it is. A couple of people wrote some funny ones in, okay, yeah, we're gonna say we're gonna investigate military discipline. But, yeah, well, there was somebody called Tired of Dogs who says, notices your scandal. Ooh, what's this? And then somebody else said, the news. Ooh, the terrorists killed 300 in bombings. And then it's a sad face. Demand from the Fuhrer, not relevant to us. Triangulation. Few more hours is short if the people believe. If you believe. Hold on, how's that Prince of Egypt song goes? Or it's like, you know, there can be... Oh, man, more people are now supporting impeachment. Damn it. So, I guess we need to just not go down that path, the top one at all. There can be segregation if you believe, though hope is frail. Alright. CHG watches Prince of Egypt taste. Oh, dude, it's a classic. It was so innovative for its time too. It's terrific. That's definitely one of those. Okay, so like one of the I just ordered a bunch of a book series that's called An American Family Portrait, and it's like this Christian fiction. But it, like with Prince of Egypt, I'm pretty damn sure there's plenty of people who are not Christians that like The Prince of Egypt, because it's fundamentally a story about two brothers. And so it's like, that's how it is with like that book series. It's just one of those things. So it's like, yeah, you know, obviously like the Christianity is central to it, but like these are just really interesting stories when you get right down to it. Let's see. Let's see, we're gonna say, okay, vacuum, no. Let's try, maybe we can set up a Patsy. I guess we'll just go down this path again. Breaking news, segregation couldn't happen. The face! That's a good face, Georgios. Oh, man. Ooh, hey there, Caesar. Keeping my feet warm. Crafting the defense. Let's lock down our staffers. I don't think any of this is going to work. Actually, let's make some courtesy calls to Capitol Hill. Oh, somebody just subscribed, I think? Yep, little token in the cognac glass. Nice. Demand from the Fuhrer doesn't concern us. Whoa, 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 whoa. All on the same side. Hold on. Same side, right? Okay. What to do to get the MPP back in line? There's no obligation for them to stick out their necks for the president. The Yankee-leaning progressive segments of the MPP electorate, they would be hard nuts to crack, whereas the right NPP could plausibly be brought in line with bland promises of party unity and more control over the reins of policy. As for the recalcitrants, Wallace was Wallace. He refused to be thrown to the curb and discarded like a piece of cardboard as just another party, a party-chick. He had a following, outspoken in the Deep South and quietly present elsewhere, that wouldn't stand for seeing their president be fed to the wolves. Yeah, we have to lean on the center. Okay, so now we're going to start spending political power. There's Caesar meowing. Pew, 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 pew. Time to lean. Lean! So if we get the center, we definitely have this secure, because we've got 50 votes in the far right in theory. And then if we can get the center, we can get the Democrats later, we're all good. Let's see. Let's see. Wallace administration, criticism of government, all according to plan. House is forwarding articles of impeachment. Yeah, but, okay, basically this is what we got the staff to say. The Department of Public Safety stands resolute in the recognition of a variety of failures which happened upon that day. However, none of which stemmed from the actions of President Wallace or his administration. We applaud the federal government in standing strong in the face of difficulties. Yeah, basically we got the staffers. The staffers are not testifying against us. House decides to forward articles of impeachment. An arousing day in the American political sphere. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Criminals. Criminals! That's become a friend of mine's favorite words to say about anything he doesn't like. It's like, it's criminal. It's criminal. He's a criminal. Oh, she's a criminal. It's kind of funny. Can I sponsor civil wars in South America? Like me personally, you guys are going to have to donate a lot more super chat money if you want me to be sponsoring civil wars. I couldn't even afford a new processor right now, much less guns for various militia groups. Was that joke too dry? Giorgio said, am I still reading the Trudeau fanfic? No, I'm done with it. That was the end of the chapter. Okay, our day in court. We're going to say there's a stark difference between the National Guard and President Wallace. Hold on here. Let's see here. Our day in court. Why did that H get there? My finger slipped. We're going to say there's a stark difference between the National Guard and President Wallace. There was a George Wallace fan fiction? I guess technically this is what we're reading. Not all fan fiction has to be smut, guys. Nicholas, can you balkanize Brazil CHG? Thank you. Senatorial suspicion. Something wasn't right. Jurors. What about the staff? So what if they're suspicious, Doc? Damn, we'll have to use something else. Damn it! Didn't work. We're trying to find the path here. Obviously, before I was able to not get impeached at all, so yeah, this is all just for the sake of seeing what these things do. Boy, the freaking amount of viewers we've had has been jumping up and down all stream. It's very strange. Usually it grows and grows and grows over the course of the stream, but people have been coming and going pretty starkly. You want your Bukarina ex Savlin smut. Oh gosh, somebody balkanized Luxembourg. What, every house in it or something? We're gonna say the blame lies within the action and mismanagement of local powers. Balkanize Andorra. Guys, can we balkanize Kiel, the micro country that forms in Kaiserreich when the Baltic Duchy explodes and then they're pushed out? Oh, yeah, Riga. Yeah, can we balkanize the Riga City Council? Balkanize Lesotho. That's good. I like seeing, but get Africa involved, bro. Bro, I'm about to balkanize your ass cheeks. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. On the high ground, .1 for Wallace. Caesar, I'm going to feed you right after the stream. Just a little bit more. Okay? A couple more minutes. A few more minutes. Okay, buddy? And until then, I'm going to scratch your chest, your fluffy toga. Witnesses walk. They're winning the case for us. Don't threaten us with a good time. Yeah. You know, that just reminded me of a... Okay, long story of how my brain got here, but, hold on. I wanted to show you guys something. So here's the context you need to know for people who are HoloLive fans. Watson apparently used to read a lot of Team Fortress. Ignore everything on the right. My recommendations are screwed. She apparently used to read a lot of Team Fortress 2 fan fiction.
Are you winning, Watson?
Slap my ass.
And then...
Slap my ass. Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't know what I just clicked. All right. Gouda just hit 2 million, by the way. That's cool. So our time to fight. So we're going to say the bell tolls. Several senators will decide to support Watson. So we're going to go after the black teenager kid. Yeah, Watson, I just saw her as the toxic gamer initially. There was hentai in my recommendeds. Are you serious? Was there? I'm going to have to go back and watch the video now. But Watson's got a certain charisma that she makes me laugh a lot. The bell tolls, only time can tell now. Wolves are on the hunt. See, yeah, I don't know what the Among Us thing was. I accidentally clicked something, like, you know, when it did the collage of videos. Okay, we're going to say round them up, we need them. Okay, we're down to 75 political power. I think we came in with like 569 or something. My favorite of the Hololive ones probably, though, is still Calliope, but Watson's funny. Discussions on the Democrats. Get the damned Democrats on our side. So we're now in the negatives. So we should definitely check out, it's the 4th month and the 20th day, you know what I mean? Anyway, how dare you, Georgios? I hope you don't mean in a lewd way, actually. So we should definitely have this locked down because we got 50 senators that are directly in our party. The center MPP we're trying to court, and we're also getting the Democrats on our side. And yeah, we should be able to avoid this. I always said that during the main campaign. I was going to be able to. The vote of fate. Here we go. My oh my, quit making things up. I'm going to teach you all about... Oh, no, we just lost. Guilty. Man, that's bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. But I'm going to teach you all about choosing anime girls sometime in February. You're going to learn a lesson that's going to hurt. It's going to burn. I'm going to burn the heart out of you. Anyway, so it looks like impeachment was unavoidable, even though I had, you know, everything on my side. That's just such bullshit. I really think it is. Like, if you've got 50 senators that are in your party and you're spending hundreds and hundreds of political power to win more of them to your side, you should win the impeachment proceedings. That it just, yeah, it's a horrible cost, but, you know, just anyway. Okay, but that's it. That's it. We're done. Okay, yeah, my cat's meowing. He wants some grub. So thank you very much for joining me on Conquering History Games. This was a really fun series. I don't know what exactly is going to be my next live stream series yet as far as Hearts of Iron 4 goes. In fact, I think what we're probably going to do is take a little break from Hearts of Iron 4 in terms of the live streams. You know, as far as recordings go, I'm going to still be putting up the USA campaign, and I'm going to also be doing the... I'm going to be starting up a couple of other pre-recorded campaigns, which I've been very excited to explore. But they are going to be pre-recorded. I'm not going to do live streams on them because for neither of them do I want spoilers. So, just a second, Caesar. So keep an eye out for that. And what else? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing, some non-Hearts of Iron stuff in a live stream. I might do some tonight. Tomorrow, if I do live stream, there's going to be no Grand Strategy stuff. It's only going to be Zelda. because tomorrow's inauguration day, and so people are going to be all friggin' politically charged up or whatever, and they're going to say, man, I got really strong feelings about you know, this new administration, or about the leaving administration, or about politics in the United States in general, and so I'm going to go to a video game channel and talk about it and be pissy. And I don't want that, so tomorrow, any live streams I do are going to strictly be Zelda ones. Which is going very well, by the way. We're 3 Divine Beasts down. I actually am kind of starting to see the end in sight. And I always recommend that people come and check out those streams. By the way, press like on your way out if you can. But, like, I think... Let's see, in terms of the Zelda streams, the main things I still got to do is I want to do the 4th Divine Beast. We're going to do the Zora one. We've been deliberately saving Mipha for last. I want to finish up the 3rd Trial of the Sword. And then I want to do whatever the Champion's Ballad is, or something. Ross Stewart, can we talk about whose religion is correct instead? Goodness gracious, I swear, people get less angry about religion these days than politics, because I guess politics has become the new thing. There you go, my oh my. So anyway, I'm Conquering History Games, and you all have a wonderful day. Bye.